All right, what's on tap? Last segment of today. We're doing this on Tuesdays. Top five, bottom five. My five best teams in the NFL and my five worst teams in the NFL. And this is not, again, indication of how they played last week. This is like a power ranking. If the in week 16, if the Carolina Panthers, and they're not playing them, but if the Carolina Panthers happen to be playing the Chiefs in 137 and nothing, they're not going to be on my top five. They might have had a top five performance for a week, but they're not ever going to be on my top five. So let's start off with our bottom five teams of the NFL. And these are in no particular order for the bottom five. But the worst, should I put them in order for you guys? I'll put them in order for you guys. Team number 32, the Carolina Panthers. I did this because I saw what Bryce Young is. And the good news is they probably could have the first pick and they can go get a franchise quarterback. Bryce Young is just small, bad, not good, turns over the ball too much, doesn't inspire. I feel horrible for him because all indications are he's a good dude and he just can't play football. Number 31, the Titans. Will Levis, another guy I like as a person. I like his interviews. I like his strength and his ability to stand there and take hits and his personality and his toughness and so many things I like about Will Levis, but I don't like how he plays quarterback. The Titans, I said in my last segment that they could have literally punted on 1st and 10 every single time and probably won the football game. But instead, Will Levis threw the football to players. And one of the picks, the pick six, when he was getting tackled and just threw it up, and it was like, what the heck? I want to give the Bears defense some credit, but his decision making was horrible. Number 30, the Giants. I mean, you see a trend here, right? Bad quarterback play equals bad team. Damn, Daniel Jones sucks. Number 29, the Raiders. I almost feel like there's like three teams here that are really bad. And then the next two on this list, you guys have some hope. You might not be as bad as I'm making you feel. The Raiders, you lost to Harbaugh in his opener. No shame in that. I just don't think Gardner Minshew is a franchise starting quarterback. He can maybe come in for a week or two, give a change of pace, change up things a little bit. But in general, nah, not the guy. And then I guess, what is that, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28. The Broncos, I guess. Man, I had a really hard time finding the fifth worst team. There's a lot of teams I could have put on there, but some of those teams I thought would probably be on this list ended up having better performances. The Broncos don't inspire me. Sometimes also, like, let's say Sean Payton, right? We've seen coaches in their second stop, and they're like, next act, just not succeed. Maybe that's what's going to happen to Sean Payton. Bo Nix, I know he didn't, like, his stats didn't look good at all, but I thought, like, I watched the whole game because I'm a Seahawks fan, and he looked all right to me. I think he'll be all right, and I don't know if they're going to be on this bottom five team list for long, but right now they're there. All right, so our top five teams. We're going to go from 5 to 1. We're going to start off number 5, the Houston Texans. I thought they would have a little bit of a down year, second year. Like, I've always been a believer some of these teams have one good year, one bad year, like one really good year, surprise, a little bit of a dip, and then come back. That Colts team looks actually pretty good. And that division in general, I think you have 3 teams that could be good with Jacksonville, the Colts, and the Texans. But the Texans look like a team that's ready to challenge for a Super Bowl. Stephon Diggs started off with 2 touchdown catches, which is pretty cool for him. It's a good story. CJ Stroud looks like he's not going to miss a beat from his rookie year to his second season. And I just like this Texans team. Number 4, the Ravens. Baltimore, there's no shame in going to Kansas City and losing on the last second play where Isaiah likely pulled a Kevin Durant and his toe was on the line. Now, can they get past the boogeyman Chiefs? I don't know. It's going to be really hard to. It seems like that's their kryptonite. It's Lamar's kryptonite, but it's everyone's kryptonite. But I am not a guy who sits here and say, "Oh, you have one loss." This is not a record, right? And the top 5 teams is not like 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. This team's 0-1. They're going to have a chance to get out of it. And I think the Ravens are still a good team. Number 3, the Cowboys. That was a performance. A couple of things about the Cowboys here. 1, Dak Prescott gets a little bit of extra hate for no reason. He's actually a very good quarterback. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the NFL or anything like that, but he's a perennial top 10 quarterback. He makes all the throws. He's a leader. He has a lot of intangibles. And Jerry Jones decided before the game, let's just end all the drama before the season starts, re-sign him, give him $60 million a year. You're not going to find a quarterback in the draft that's next year guaranteed that's going to give you the production that Dak does. You're not going to be able to trade for a quarterback that will give you the production that Dak does. You're not going to be able to sign a free agent like Dak. If you have a good enough quarterback, you re-sign that good enough quarterback. A couple more things about the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy. We want to hit on him too. 12 wins. And this year, their defense looks legit. Their offensive plays look legit. And Jerry Jones. I've been critical. There's a lot of things to be critical of Jerry Jones. But he's changed in one way and one way only. He used to be a guy who was quick to make decisions. I'm firing this head coach quickly. He's not doing good enough and chasing him out of town. He stuck with Jason Garrett for the long run and looked for stability. And now with Mike McCarthy, there have been calls that he's going to get fired. Looks like Dak Prescott's and Jerry Jones is about the stability. Re-sign Dak, bring in CeeDee Lamb. He will get a Micah Parsons deal done at some point. Mike McCarthy, you won 12 games 2 seasons in a row. Run it back. Cowboys, I think, are going to be really good. And I think the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. And the Cowboys are going to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Number 2, the 49ers. That was a performance on Monday Night Football. A team that was locked in, ready to roll, wanting to show the world that, hey, we lost in the Super Bowl last year, we're back. Then before the game, we hear Christian McCaffrey's out, which, by the way, they might be in trouble because Jordan Mason said he knew since Friday he was starting, but that's a different story for a different day. But the 49ers came in, took care of business, looked just as good as they have every single season for the last X amount of seasons. I think in general, they're a team that is really good. They're going to be right in the mix. Their head coach is elite. He hasn't won this big game yet, the Super Bowl, but he could. And number 1, the Chiefs. What do you want me to say? Defending Super Bowl champs, best team, added weapons. Last year was a year to beat the Chiefs. That's when they were vulnerable. They ain't so vulnerable anymore. God, they have weapons. Xavier Worthy is a toy for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Rashee Rice looks like a legit number 1 wide receiver. Travis Kelce can find it in the back of his mind to come out and do stuff and score like when he needs to. And they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. The best head coach in the NFL right now is Andy Reid. The best quarterback in the NFL right now is Patrick Mahomes. You have that combination year in and year out. You're going to be vying for Super Bowls. And that's exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing.